visually appealing. Like they look like, well, yeah, cages essentially. You know, ashes to ashes. No, don't just take my body and sell it to science. No thanks. Yeah, so they found another way. They started creating bodies to sell.
Rivers run dry, dust breaths in the air. 2 dark days, do you have a tear to spare?
Guys, are you ready for this episode of Morgue with Morg? I have like a glow going on right now. I don't know what's going on. Let me move like over here a little bit. The sun is shining through right now, but it's like a little harsh. So sorry about that. We got our little Mikey Myers blanket back here, which is a hot mess. I need to definitely like wash it. There's just dog hair all over it. But we ain't gonna worry about that, okay? So your girl has her coffee, and yeah, so it's a crazy episode of Morgue with Morg. So welcome back to Morgue with Morg, where we just talk about all things paranormal, haunting, chilling, scary, horror, true crime, all like the dark things of the internet that probably nobody wants to talk about or people are scared to even think about. All of those things, yeah, we talk about on this channel. So yeah, unfortunately, if you stumbled upon my channel, sorry, or maybe you're welcome. I don't know. I mean, who knows? But yeah, so let's get into it. This freaking sun is, I mean, like I am living for the sun, but I don't know if it's really doing me justice in this angle right now. So anyway, yeah, guys, today's episode is going to be pretty crazy. Last episode, we talked about all things of morgue history. Of course, that's a spin to my name. So I was like, why not talk about how morgues came to be and all the haunting, chilling things that have happened prior, before like morgues even became a thing. So if you guys want to go watch that, go watch the previous episode. This episode, we're going to still be talking about, well, not morgues necessarily, but graves and some crazy stuff that happened with the grave. Imagine losing a loved one and, you know, you're already going through a lot because that losing a loved one is hard, as we all know. It's a hard process to go through all that. You visit their grave, I don't know, maybe the following morning or a different day, and you just notice that their body is gone. Just not there. It's like the grave is dug and the casket is possibly open and there's no body. Yeah, I can't imagine that at all. That's fucked up if you ask me. This was a actual real fear. You know, not in horror films, not on TikTok, not because of a zombie, you know, deciding, you know, let me go through grave and eat a person, body, whatever. This was because literally someone stole grandma. Like someone said, hey, you know, we can make some money off of grandma. So let's go dig her up and call it a day. Yeah, the people were actually doing this. And that's I mean, pretty fucked up. Okay? Pretty fucked up. So the medical school problem. So this is kind of, I guess, where the start of it all began. This is literally where, you know, I guess people were getting the ideas to do some weird shit. Back in the 17... Sorry, guys. So yeah, back in the 1700s and 1800s, doctors needed bodies to learn anatomy. Okay, great, right? You know, they want to become surgeons. You need a body to do that, right? All the things. The problem, there weren't enough legal bodies available. Okay, medical schools, they wanted cadavers, but lots of them. But laws often only would allow like executed criminals to be used for dissection. So yeah, there simply weren't enough. So people started finding another way. And by another way, I mean literally digging up fresh graves in the middle of the night And they were like, well, there you go. There's your body. Okay. So there was actually a group of people that were known for doing this. They were called the Resurrection Men. These were grave robbers. Yeah, and that was actually what they were called, the Resurrection Men. Sounds like a paranormal TV show, but no, these were professional body thieves. They would wait until after a funeral, return after dark, dig into the grave, remove the body, and sell it to medical schools. Yep. Sometimes for what would be thousands of dollars today. So, yeah, this is actually pretty interesting. I know, like, I probably will get the FBI called to my house if I looked up how much body parts were. But I remember watching a documentary on this, and this was, I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was essentially like this guy who, and if you guys know what I'm talking about, list it below. He was just a cleaner. He did the cleaning service, but he worked at the hospital, and he was cleaning at the hospital. And he was called to go into, I want to say it was the morgue area, where essentially like no one was allowed to go unless you were like authorized. But he was authorized by someone to get access to clean up. There was like a spillage of the sort in the, God only knows what it was. It could have been bodily fluids. I have no idea. I'm sure it was. It was the morgue. So essentially he went down there, but he noticed in one of the freezers or something, or one of them, that there was like body parts but chopped up. Like there was an arm there, like a leg in one area, like just all these body parts. And he was like, what the fuck is this? And essentially he told somebody at the hospital what he saw, and the hospital got wind of it, fired him like right away. And then I want to say they literally sent him papers and said, you're not allowed to like come into this premise, you're fired, and didn't give him a reason why they did it. So he felt like because he opened his mouth about seeing the body parts, that's what fired him. But he's like, why would I get fired over that? Like, what are they doing? And then he went into this whole, like, I want to say it actually like literally tore him apart, because he went on a whole like finding like on the internet, like just deep dives into people that were illegally selling body parts. And he thought that the hospitals had a big take in it, the morticians, the people who owned the funeral home. There was a guy in that town, the mayor had some involvement of it, and they were trying to shut him up in all the ways and threaten him and silence him. So there's like a whole documentary on that, but like it was actually pretty interesting, because like it essentially like ruined his life, which was horrible, because his kids were like, he became so obsessed with it that like it became like it consumed him so much, and he like would barely ever leave his house, and he would do all this research, but he would try to like speak out about it. And he's like, this is going on, like people are like, their loved ones, like once you bury a loved one, like, and the casket's closed, like you don't see essentially like anything after that. And there was this big conspiracy theory that, you know, there was these people, actually it wasn't a conspiracy, there was people that were actually robbing body parts. But the conspiracy theory I'm saying is like that all these other people had involvement, and it's like a black market, and essentially you were, you know, buying body parts on the black market, and they were worth a lot of money. Very fucking weird. But anyway, this is a thing. So I would be curious to see how much a body part would be. I mean, I don't know if I want to Google that. I don't want like the FBI coming in my house, because this is literally just for entertainment purposes and obviously like educational as well. But yeah, so that's what those men were called. And the crazy, it goes, usually they didn't steal jewelry, they didn't steal clothing, they wouldn't take valuables. Why? Because stealing property, wait, this is crazy. Stealing property was a massive crime, which essentially, right, it is. It's stealing. But it's stealing a body wasn't. What? Stealing a body often wasn't, it says. Imagine explaining that legal loop. I shouldn't laugh, that's not funny. But like really imagine like in court and just going like, yeah, Your Honor, I didn't steal her necklace. Just stole her entire corpse. I should be free to go, right? Like, absolutely crazy. So, wow. Okay. So if I went and stole her necklace, the dead lady's necklace, I'll get charged. But if I steal her arm, I won't. All right. So families fought back. People became terrified. Families would actually start guarding the graves of their loved ones, hiring armed watchmen, which I'm assuming you would do that if you had money, building guard houses, using cemetery patrols. So families literally camped out cemeteries for days after the funeral because, again, these men that were like targeting funerals, they would wait for, that perfect moment to get into that casket, grab that body, and be on their merry way. And yeah, families caught wind of it. And so they were like, nope, not happening. No. Oh, no, 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 no. You're going to put my loved one back. Yeah. And I'm watching. I'm going to stay here and watch. And that's like insane. Like people actually would do that. Yeah, so they would wait out for, I guess, days until the ground got harder to where it would be too hard to even, dig up. But essentially, when the graves were really fresh, that was the biggest target because obviously the ground is softer and easier to, Families began installing these iron cages. Oh, so that's actually interesting because I feel like I've seen that before and I didn't understand what the purpose of that was. I was like, what is that cage above the grave? So yeah, essentially families began installing iron cages over the graves. That's pretty interesting. They were called mort safes. Am I saying that right? Mort safes. So yeah, imagine visiting a cemetery and seeing a giant iron cage over a grave. Yeah, people walking through those graveyards must have thought, yep, that's totally normal. Yeah, so I guess that was like their protection. That was like their way of saying, fuck off. Leave my loved one alone. Just let them rest in peace. Don't steal their body. Leave them alone. Just leave their body alone. It becomes one with the earth. That's how this works. Ashes to ashes. Don't just take my body and sell it to science. No thanks. Pretty crazy. I'm like looking at these pictures and they look like, some of them honestly look like, not visually appealing. Like they look like, well, yeah, cages essentially, but it's a cage to go over your grave. And I guess it went far down so that way they literally couldn't get into, that's crazy. Like some of them are okay looking, but then some of them look scary. But I guess you had to do what you had to do. You know what I'm saying? Burke and Hare. Things got even darker. Okay. Some criminals realized digging up bodies was hard work. Obviously, right? So they found another way. Only they put all that ideas and energy into like being better. You know what I mean? And like, doing something good for the world. They could have been geniuses. But no, they chose to go the other route and go, no, I'm going to do crime, right? Yeah, so they found another way. They started creating bodies to sell. What? This led to one of the history's most Excuse me. This led to one of the history's most infamous murder cases. William Burke and William Hare. Instead of stealing the dead, they would murder people and then sell their bodies. Okay, so now you're committing multiple crimes, murder, and I guess, is that abuse of a corpse if you're selling a body, right? I would assume so. So you murdered the person, which already is fucked up, right? And then you're selling their body. Okay. Ghosts really don't scare me, right? Like a lot of people think when I go to haunted places, they're like, aren't you scared? Aren't you scared because of, what's there? And I'm like, the afterlife doesn't scare me. You know what does scare me? Fucking people. People that are alive scare me, okay, more than ever. Like the fact that people were doing this back in the day and probably, who knows, still do. Who the fuck knows? I really want to look more into this William and Hare situation. William Burke and William Hare. So this is from, he was born William Burke was born 1792 and died 1829. He was an Irish criminal best known for the Burke and Hare murders. So this was a series of killings carried out in Edinburgh, Scotland, to sell bodies for anatomical dissection. His crimes alongside accomplice William Hare became emblematic to the darker side of the early 19th century medical science. So if you guys would like me to do a whole episode on them, I absolutely will, because obviously I want to be thorough. This was kind of just like a little more darker history of, the whole graves and everything like that, because I don't know if you guys know or don't know, or maybe you have heard of that other man. What the hell was his name? He literally was doing kind of the same thing, but only like he was collecting them in his house. He was stealing bodies. This was was it Mount Moriah, the cemetery? There's a cemetery here in Pennsylvania, and I believe it's abandoned. And essentially this guy, I'm gonna look into that now. What was his name? I'm totally forgetting his name. I should know this. He was doing something similar, only I don't think he was selling them. I think he was, well, actually, no, he was selling them, but like, he was like, had like them in his house. Like it was like literally Jeffrey Dahmer. Like he just had bodies in his house and like displaying them. Like it was just very creepy. Yeah. So he was a grave robber. Yeah. What the fuck was his name though? I could do a whole thing on him as well. A whole thing on that situation. But that was like really messed up. Oh yeah, so this guy's name was Jonathan Gerlach. Am I saying that right? But yeah, he was breaking into mausoleums and underground crypts. And this place is in Eden, Pennsylvania, which I don't think is too far from where I live. But yeah, he was facing hundreds of charges tied to stolen human remains and from Mount Moriah. Yeah, it says 500 charges, according to this outlet, which is Fox 29. Man faces nearly 500 charges for stealing human remains in grave robbery case. So, I'm saying his name? Jonathan Gerlach. He appeared in Delaware County Court Friday facing hundreds of charges tied to stolen human remains from Mount Moriah Cemetery. 2 burglary charges were dropped, but Gerlach faces new charges for cemetery burglaries in Lancaster and so he was in other counties too, stealing bodies. Yeah, like it's just wild. It's just wild. I remember that story because I remember it was like all over the news and people were like, oh my God, I know that cemetery. It was beautiful. Like the fact that anyone would be disturbing like anyone's resting place is just disturbing alone. But then like I think he legit was selling them and he had them online and like it was just very odd. Like it was just a very odd situation. But I mean, obviously anyone that's doing that is not all there in the head. So yeah, well that completes today's episode of Morgue with Morg. It was a little short, but if you guys would like me to do more in-depth of that case, the William Burke and William Hare, I think the other guy's name was, I can absolutely do that. Or more like, because I am trying to get into true crime. I'm trying to like gradually get into true crime because true crime takes a lot of time, a lot of research. And as much as I love doing all that, it is time consuming. So, but you guys let me know what you want to watch down in the comments below, or if you like have any thoughts or input about what I just was talking about in this episode. Again, listen to the comments, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching this or if you're listening to this on Apple Podcast. Mama, stop. By all means. But yeah, guys, so this is your spooky best friend, Morgan Taylor, Morgue with Morg. Definitely follow my channel. I am going to be investigating soon at a couple different places. I'll keep you in the loop. Also, I am going to have a segment on my channel, not necessarily my podcast, but on my YouTube channel. If you guys are watching already on my YouTube channel, I'm going to have a reaction to creepy videos that are submitted to me. I do want a little bit more so I can create that first episode for you guys. So it's kind of just like I'm going to tell you what's happening. I'm going to show you the clip and we're going to just watch it together and essentially just react and see what the hell's going on. So yeah, if you guys have any clips you want to submit to me, send it to Morgue With Morg. I'll list the email down below at yahoo.com and submit it to me through that if you can, or whatnot. Okay, I greatly appreciate it. If you guys have any stories you want to tell me, you can submit it as well. If you know of haunted places, locations, or if your house personally or your property is haunted, let me know, because I would love to come and visit, and I would love to know the history, and I would love to see if I can come up and figure out what's going on there. So definitely, and serious inquiries only. Don't mess with me. And yeah, that is it for today's episode of Morgue with Morg. I hope you guys enjoyed. And until next video, I'll see you then. Bye.
Rivers run dry, dust breaths in the air. 2 dark days, do you have a tear to